Hello everyone. Here today in this session we are going to see about OSPF STUB. Okay, how to configure OSPF STUB, that's what we are going to see about in this session. And this is our topology we are going to look into. Okay, so we have a couple of routers. We have R1, R2, R3 and R4. 4 routers, and the connectivity between R1 and R2 is a RIP routing protocol. And R2, R3 and R4 which runs the OSPF routing protocol. And R2, which is the ASBR router, which has two routing protocols, are RIP and OSPF, and the information from RIP is being redistributed into OSPF and the vice versa. Okay, so the R3 here is a ABR router, which has two different areas connected to its interfaces. Okay, let me show you about a configuration which has been pre-configured in the routers. And these are all the IP addresses that I have already configured the routers for all the 4 routers. Let me show that one. Okay, here this is the IP address, and for R3, and this is for R4. Okay, if you look into R1 routers interfaces, I have created a loopback 1.1.1.1. This is the IP address, and for which we are going to focus on the entire scenario. Okay, so let me show you about routing configurations. Since R1 is running router RIP, I'm going to show about a RIP configuration. Okay, I'm using a version 2, and all the networks over here is advertised and also auto summary command. Okay, so next moving out to R2 router, which is ASBR. Let's look at a OSPF configuration. Here I have advertised 23.0 in area 0, which is nothing but this interface's information 23.0 in area 0. Next is RIP. So RIP, which has a 12.0, and this interface information is being configured or is being given into RIP part, and both the information is being redistributed. If you look at over here, redistribute RIP subnets. So which means the RIP information is being redistributed into OSPF over here. Okay, so next is about OSPF information is being redistributed into RIP. Okay, so with the metric of pi. Alright, so this is about ASBR router configuration. Next, moving out to R3. R3 is OSPF router. So this is what our configuration is about, and we are running 23.0 and 34.0. all the interfaces that I have configured in the router is being advertised in OSPF, but with different areas. You can look at over here. So 23.0 which belongs to area 0 and 34.0 which belongs to area 1. So if you look at over here, it's area 0 which is 23.0 and area 1 which is 34.0. Okay. Next is about R4 router. It's show running configuration section, and it's router OSPF. Okay, so there's only one interface which has been configured, and I'm advertising that interfaces into OSPF since the only one routing protocol over here is OSPF, and it has been advertised in the area 1. Okay, so this is what configuration that has been pre-configured in the routers. Let me check the routing table of R4. Okay, we can able to see the loopback IP 1.1.1, which is being configured in R1, that is from other routing protocol. The R1 doesn't configure or doesn't have any information about OSPF. It runs only RIP, so we can able to get the information in R4, which runs only OSPF area 1. Okay, so let's try. We can able to reach this information from R4. Yeah, it's reachable, and it is being shown under a OSPF code of external type 2, OE2, which I have explained what this means in the earlier session, which is nothing but OSPF external type 2. There are two types, type 1 and type 2, and I have shown you the difference and how to configure a type 2 and type 1. What is the default type? All the information is being given in OSPF type areas session itself. Okay, if you haven't looked into that session, I will just give a link in the description. You can check to that. Okay, next is the main part of this session is about how to configure a OSPF stub. Okay, so first of all, what is stub? Let me give you a general introduction about it. Okay, stub. Stub is nothing but which indicates it's just a block. Stub, it has been stubbing, it has been blocking in the way it stops. So what does it stops? In types of OSPF, just the name of stub, what does it blocks is it blocks LSA type 5. Type 5 LSA is being blocked by stub. What does the type 5 LSA do? LSA type 5 which generates a external routing informations, or you can say to be as a redistributor routes informations also we can say. These type of informations are being blocked if you configure the particular area to be as a stub. So which helps you to stop the redistributed informations by entering into the stub area. So you can't able to redistribute, so you can't able to get any OE2 or OE1 informations into the stub area. So this is what a stub. Then how can we able to reach the other routing informations? That will create a interesting fact over here is it will generate a default route instead of that. So we will look into that. How does it create in the labs scenario? Okay, so this is what a stub. It blocks the external routes from entering into the particular area. You can say it's simple as blocks external routes from entering into the stub area. Okay, blocks the external routes from entering into the stub area. This is what a simple term indicates. Okay, so let's move on to the configuration part. First, let's look into the what are the areas that is being present over here. There is only one area in this router. Number of areas in this router is 1, and that area seems to be a normal area, which is area 1. Okay, so let's check it here. So this router has 2 areas and 2 are normal areas. Here you can see it's a normal area, and that areas are area 0 and area 1. Okay, let's look into R2. There are 2 routing protocols, router and RIP, but we are focusing mainly on OSPF. Sorry, RIP and OSPF. We mainly focus on OSPF, and it has only one area, and that area seems to be a normal area. Okay, no issues. Now we are going to configure a stub area. Before that, we just look into the routing table of that. Okay, so this is what better to check with OSPF routing table. Okay, so this is the output that we got now. Let's take a copy of it. Okay, now I'm going to configure OSPF stub in area 1. Whichever the routers that is having a area 1, that I am going to configure it to be as a stub area. R3 and R4. If you look here, R3 and R4 are the routers that has a area 1. So now I'm going to configure it to be as a stub. To configure a stub, we need to enter into the OSPF and area 1 and that to be as a stub. Within a couple of seconds, you will get this error message in console which indicates you couldn't able to form or your neighborship is being broken. If you debug some information, if you debug the OSPF, you can able to see it's due to the mismatch of areas or mismatch of area IDs, whatever it be, you can able to get this information. Okay, so here I'm going to configure the same thing over here. It's also area 1 to be as a stub. has to form neighborship now. Yeah, it's done. You can see the message as loading to full, which indicates it has been moved on to the full state. Okay, so no issues. Now we need to check the routing table. Before that, we can check about protocols to check whether it is a stub or normal area. Here it's indicated to be as one stub, one area, and that area seems to be as a stub area. Okay. Here there are two areas. One is normal and one is a stub. You can see it here. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is checking the routing table. If you see the routing table now, you don't see any sort of external routes. To make it clear, I can take this information of OSPF. Okay, we can check it here. This is the previous output and this is the stub area output. Okay, so here after configuring a stub, it doesn't show any sort of external routes. What does a stub mean? As I indicated earlier, it blocks external routing information. External routing and redistributor routes will be blocked. External routes from entering into the stub area will be blocked in case of stub area. If you configure a particular area to be as a stub, this is what will happen. It blocks the external routes. So if we see here, we can able to see there are two external routing informations. One is 192.168.12.0 and other is 1.1.1.1. But here after configuring a stub, you don't see any sort of external routes. You can see only about this 23.0 network and a default route. Okay, this is what the output we are getting. But we should have to check whether we are having a reachability to reach a particular network. Let's check it there. But still we can able to reach to a particular network by using a default route. So this is what a stub works. Stub helps you to avoid type 5 LSAs and reduce the routing table, and at the same time it helps you to reach a particular destination by avoiding a type 5 LSA. Instead of that, it will create a default route which helps you to reach a particular destination. So this is what a stub is about, and to be noted, a stub cannot be configured in a backbone area. Stub cannot be configured in backbone area. Backbone, which is nothing but area 0, which cannot be configured. If you want to check, I'm going to configure it now here. You can see as router OSPF 1 and area 0 we can make to be as a stub. If you try to configure, you can see this console message. Backbone area cannot be configured as a stub area, which means area 0 is a default backbone for all the OSPF informations. So that area cannot be configured to be as a stub, as stub means which helps you to block a certain information. But as per the OSPF basic rules, every area should have to be directly or indirectly connected to the OSPF area 0. So it should not be configured to be as a stub, and it cannot be configured to be as a stub. So that's what this thing is about. We can configure any other area to be as a stub. I hope you understand this session about how to configure a OSPF stub. In the next session, we will see about how to configure OSPF totally stub with the same scenario. If you have any queries or questions or doubts regarding this, just give a comment. That's it. Thanks for watching. Until next time.